Hi everyone, welcome back to the final construction part of the Lancelot. So Lancelot, if you've been following, is my latest album for Cool Katz Crafts. It's an album cover kit which you can purchase. You can get the tape, the acetate, the cover, and then the instructions to go with it. And we've made our way to page 8 and the inside cover. So page 8 is a belly band with a photo pocket on top, and the photo pocket has an optional element where you can have it sliding up and down, so you can put things down here and up here and be able to access them, but also fit your 6x4 photos in here. But with this one, I'm going to have to change it a little bit, so I'll show you how you alter it to fit whatever images you've got. So this one, I had a 6x4 image. In Songs of the Sea, there isn't one. So it gives me an opportunity to show you a little bit more. So if you are interested in joining me on the Lancelot journey, have a look in the description below, and you will find lots of handy links to the shop at Cool Katz Crafts and also to my Facebook group, Paper Crafting with Paul, so you can get the free PDF cutting guide as well. So let's have a look at what we have. But on to page 8. So page 8 has I forgot to put the belly band in. It's actually going to have two pieces. So 8A, this will be 8B in the end. There's one of them, it's a belly band, and it's the height of A4. And then we're going to use one of our scraps just to make the most of it. So we're going to get the belly band. Let's have a look. The belly band itself is 3 inches wide. I'm sure I did put it into my 3 inches wide. So let's have a look. I've got some scraps here, all A4 tall and 3 inches wide. Here we go. Then the second piece is for my 6x4 photos. Now what you need to do is measure whatever size your image is. You're going to add 1/4 inch to the height and 1/4 inch to the width to give you that little border. And then of course you're going to double it to make it a pouch. So 2 times the width of your piece, which is 1/4 inch bigger, and add 1/2 inch onto the edge to make your flap to stick it shut. Then whatever your height is, so width plus 1/4 inch, your height plus you're going to add 1/4 inch, and then we want a 1/2 inch flap on the bottom as well. So you're going to add 1/2 inch. So whatever the width of your image is, add 1/4 inch, then double it, and then add 1/2 inch for your flap. Whatever your height is, add 1/4 inch, and then add 1/2 inch for your flap. So let's have a look at what we've got in here. So we've got the small ones. We've got some rectangles. Should we go big? Let's go big. This one is 5.5 by 5.5. It is a perfect square. Let's go for that one. Okay. So the width is 5.5. I'm going to add 1/4 inch. So it's going to be 5 3/4. Add 1/4 inch. 5 3/4. So double it. So that's going to be 10. 3/4 is 6/4. So that's 1.5. So 11.5. Plus I want 1/2 inch. That's not going to work because I've only got A4 paper. So what I'll do is I'll just have a little tiny bit at the end. Or what I can do is reduce this to 1/8. So 5 4/8, 5 and 5/8. So 2 5/8 is 10/8. So that's 1 and 2/8. 1 and 2/8. So 10, 11 and 2/8. And then whatever's left will be my flap. And then it's going to be 5/8 tall plus a 1/2 inch is 4/8, 5 and 5/8. Let's hope that works. It was 5 1/2 tall, wasn't it? Yeah, so 5 1/2. So it's 5 and 5/8 plus a 1/2 is 6 and 1/8. Sounds more complicated only because I've only got the A4 cardstock. If I had a piece of 12 by 12, I would have stuck to the easy measurements. So let's have a look. Let's see if this works now. 6 and an 8, so just over 6. And we're going to stick to the A4. Right. So, moment of truth. So it's going to be 5 1/2 and 1. Yes, I've got plenty there. 5 and 5/8. And now we're going to go 5 and 5/8. So 5 1/2 is 11, 8 and 8. Yes, I've got enough there now on the end for a flap. So let's just check. My image was 5 1/2, and this, it'll be just over 5 1/2. Excellent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut off this 1/2 inch strip on the bottom. Here's my scissors. So I'm just following that score line. And let's taper off. So I've got my 1/2 inch here now and across the bottom, which I can add my tape to. Go. And I'm just going to miter off to the cross and taper it. So I think you can probably see how this is going to go now. And while I'm here, let's do the belly band. So the belly band scoring is this long A4 on the top, and we're going to score at 3/8 and 11 and 3/8. Go. So let's put that to the side. Let's add the thinner sticky paws to the top and the bottom. So they can be folded and burnished. Fold and burnish. Okay, so that's the belly band. And if you want, because this is quite a high belly band, you can put some tape there. The only thing is, if you're going to do your moving one, it'll only slide up to that point, which is fine as well. Okay, so let's assemble this. So we're going to fold that edge back, the harder edge, and we're going to fold the other flap back, and we're going to give it a nice tough burnish, and then fold it onto itself like so. And we're going to remove the double-sided tape and press it down firmly. There we go. And now what we've got is our photo pouch there. And we've got our belly band here ready for our page. So how do I centralize this? So what I do, I put my belly band up to the edge and I measure how much is left. So that's 3 1/4. So half of 3 1/4 would then be 1 1/2 plus an extra 16th, an extra 1/8. Just looking for my pencil, which has deserted me. Why is it a pencil is always the one which tries to run away? I'll use my black pen, won't show up as, oh, here we are. Right, so half of 3 1/4, because that is how much was left. Yep, 3 1/4 is 1/2 and 8, so 1 5/8. So if I do 1 5/8 down this side, when I put the belly band up against that, I should have 1 5/8 that side as well. So I just come to line it up, top and bottom, and down that pencil line. There we go. And from this page, from the start, we should have a piece which would fit on there rather than cutting up a whole new piece. So again, I'm going to cut this as I have with all the others from 11 inches down 1/4 inch, 10 3/4 by 6, and that'll fit in there. So you can put it in like so straight away and have that in and then decorate the belly band, because when we do the last page, what am I going to use on the last page? Should I have some maps? I think so. That does look nice, and I haven't used the maps yet. You will have plenty here to do your belly band, or if you want that pattern continuation and save your paper, what we can do is we're going to cut our paper at 1 5/8 from each side. So 1 5/8 from the left, and 1 5/8 from the right. That now will fit down the middle, and these will tuck in each side. So let's have a look. Again, I'm not going to bother inking that long edge there because it's going to be tucked underneath. And I'm going to ink this. And the belly band. Start by gluing the belly band on. Because I've got the 4 sides, so you can line it up centrally. And then line up one and line up the other. So as I give them a second to dry, what I'm going to do is cut out the image I've chosen. So let's have a look. So we're going to go with the ship. No, we'll go with the mermaid because we have got more of a mermaid theme this time. That doesn't mean the ship won't be used. go. Just need to ink this up now. And the pouch is that way up. So I'm just going to line it up. There we go. And so originally I was just going to glue this on, and it would just have been a pouch, which you can do. So there's one thing isn't in the cutting list, is the next piece. But I'm just using a scrap. It can be any height, any width you want, as long as it's about an inch longer than your belly band each side. So I folded it down and slid it down to the bottom. Not folded, I've slid it down to the bottom. And I'm just going to score against my belly band here. I'm just going to slightly move it, and I'm going to score down this side as well. So that slight movement should give me a bit of a looser fit. Still a bit tight, so what I can do is just stretch my cardboard. Here we go. And this is now going to be my mechanism. Still a bit tight, so I'm going to just bring it over a little bit more and score it again. There we go. And that should slide up and down. Excellent. So let's just attach some tape to the top, one side by there, and then if I attach it to the tape to this side, I've sealed both sides perfectly then. So let's just give it a final little stretch. That was a tip I picked up from Karen, who is on the Cool Katz design team, stretching your cardstock, because she does it with her waterfalls. It just gives you a little bit of extra movement there. Extra give, I should say. There we go. And now I'm going to slide it all the way to the bottom. There we go. And again, some more double-sided tape. I might even put some glue on this because it's something people are going to be touching and moving. So I've got it right to the bottom. It hasn't slid right to the bottom because we've got that 3/8 of an inch gusset or flap. And I'm just going to line the bottom of my image with the bottom of the page. That means then it's not going to come down and bypass the page at all. So it'll slide all the way up and beyond, but it won't go down past. And that's how you do your photo pouch with the belly band. So all we're going to do now is the last page, my back page, is just a couple of horizontal pockets. So we're going to do that now quickly. Okay, so I've got everything now ready for the back page. So you can see there's two 8 1/4 inch pieces here. One is 6 1/2, one is 5. So we don't need to do anything with the 8 1/4 because our A4 is already 8 1/4. So we're going to cut one at 6 1/2 and one at 5. So we're just cutting off a tiny little slither off that one. And then we're going to do that trick that we did with the height for the width this time. We're going to do 3/8. Okay, so 7 1/2 is our page. So it's 1, 2, 3. That would have been it. There we go. 1, 2, 3 over. So 7 7/8, and then 1/2 inch off the bottom. So again, 3/8 on this side and 7 7/8 and 1/2 inch off the bottom. And just as we did before, we're going to put our wider tape in that 1/2 inch channel, and then use our narrower tape in the 3/8 channel. Oh, a bit too much there, but never mind. And then I'm going to show you a tip on when you're attaching pockets and things to your back or front cover. So when you're attaching it straight to the grey board. So there we go. Just do our little miter cuts. And again. Okay. Got our 4 bits. Let's just do some burnishing. And last one. And just burnish from the other side as well, just get it nice and flat. So this is the big one, and this is the small one. So what I'm going to do is just attach the small one, take off the bottom, and place it onto the bottom of my large pocket. Get some of the black tape, find the edge. There's the end, here we are. Just tear it off, create that ramp just like we've done numerous times in this tutorial or in this album, and fold it shut. So now we're going to attach this to our inside cover. So I've taken off the bottom, but because it's going onto the tape and grey board, I'm just going to attach some glue to it and line up the bottom right corner and then straighten it out. But before I stick down the side, I'm going to draw a pencil line there, and when you have your pocket, you're going to see that grey board. So I'm going to place some of my black tape just below that line, over that hinge as well, to create that ramp, which we've done previously. I'm going to go a little bit deeper this time. There we go. But that's what's good about tape. You can just patchwork it together and press it down. And what you'll get then is when you close your pocket, it's going to be black down there as opposed to grey board. Just gives you a nice, neater finish. So I've taken off the backing of the flaps, which is probably off the screen now because everything is so long. I've added some glue and putting it down. So now I've got to be careful. This isn't a 6-inch cut like I've done every other time. It's, oh look, that map is going to fit nicely. So it is a 7.5, so it needs to be 7 1/4. So 7 1/4. And that's worked out nicely with that down the edge as well. Do I want? Yeah, I think I want that beach ocean is calling. If I thought I would have made a pocket that size to go on top. In fact, I still could. I've got plenty of scraps. So this won't be in your version. But I'm going to do one. So that's going to be my width. So because that's just too nice to just not cut properly, it is 2 1/4. So I'm going to make it 2 1/2, and a little half is 3 inches. So this won't be in your cutting guide. Let's just show you. Your paper can determine what you're going to do at times. So this one is actually going to have an extra pocket, purely because the paper says it needs it. Right, so let's have a look. But normally, this is 4.5, so it's 4.25 off the bottom. Four and a quarter, but I'm going to do that one as well for my extra pocket. And then this pocket is 1.5, so I need to cut half, 1.5 off the bottom, not the top. There we go. So let's just get this pocket on nice and quick. You, of course, won't probably be doing this one, but who knows? Depends what paper you've been using. I think by now you realise how to create pockets whatever size you want, rather than just following mine, which is what I'm hoping for. You've learned enough to add your own little variations and work around your paper, as opposed to sticking rigid to what I've done. Here we are. Right, so let's do this one. Some black tape. And stick down. And now we're going to start patchworking this on. It's crawling, that's the next one. And the next one. But what I was going to say was, if you've got that large part here, it's a good place for your photo slots, but I've obviously negated that now because I've added the extra pocket because my paper shouted at me to do so. And then the final piece. This is the final piece of paper. Okay, and inside there. Now, those of you observant will have noticed I forgot to cut off the bit extra, but with this map it doesn't seem to matter. But I should have cut a bit off the top to have the pattern continuation, but I think it's pretty much hidden in this one, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay, I'm not too worried about that. And there we have it. There's page 8 and our back done. So let's see, plenty of now pockets for you to fill up with your photo mats, your Mexican tags, your pocket tags, which I absolutely love. So I've got some papers left to do my photo mats. I've got these journal cards I can cut up. I've got the small ones. I've got the tags, or the paper, if I wanted to make my own tags. And lots of fussy cut elements on the back and on the front that I can start using just to decorate up my album. So that is Lancelot complete. We have all our elements made using just the one 12 by 12 Stamperia pad, totally decorated. I said I've kept to the basics without using too many of the dies in this one, so that you can follow along. But of course, if you do have those Cool Katz dies, they will just take your album to the next level, and you can add loads more details to them. But there we go, that is Lancelot. So I hope you've enjoyed the journey through this album. I've certainly enjoyed making it. It was quite a challenge with the tall, slimmer version, but it's quite a mighty album to be doing. It's a beautiful one with the aperture, which is already cut for us, and everything in the kit, just adding whatever colour paper, cardstock and your paper collection. That's all you need to do. So if you have enjoyed, please thumbs up and comments do mean a lot. Have a look in the description below as well for all the links to the shops, to the Facebook groups, to my Facebook group, Paper Crafting with Paul, to get your free cutting guide. I say, I cannot wait to see your Lancelots. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again very soon.